Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Dan Murrell here with my review of Queen and Slim, which hits theaters here in the US everywhere tomorrow, the day before Thanksgiving. Queen and Slim is the debut feature film from director Melina Matsoukas. Now, while this is her first film, you've probably seen her work not only on TV shows like Insecure, but in a number of really prominent music videos, not least of all being Beyonce's Epic Lemonade. This is her debut feature film. This is also a first screenplay from Lena Waithe, whom is an Emmy-winning TV writer for Master of None, also an actor, was in Ready Player One, amongst other things. This is her first feature screenplay, and both director Melina Matsoukas and Lena Waithe really make a big impact in just their first features, both together and separately as respective director and writer. The film stars Daniel Kaluuya and Jodie Turner-Smith as the title couple, Queen and Slim, whose names we don't even really learn until later in the movie, kind of in passing. They are a normal couple, just like any other, who are driving home from their first date when they're pulled over by a police officer with a very checkered racial past. There's a scuffle that ends in the police officer's death, and the two hit the road on the run from the law. Now, what I liked about this movie as it developed was it doesn't necessarily focus on the inciting incident itself. The death of this police officer is what really sets everything into motion. But this is a character-driven story. And what you learn about these two as they hit the road is a combination of their deepest fears, what they want from life, what they didn't want from life. They talk about things like legacy and immortality, and the fact that they are becoming, whether they like it or not, icons. They are becoming images that are larger than either one of them can really comprehend. The other thing that I really like about the film is it stays very intensely focused on just these two characters and the lives of the people whom they directly interact with. There aren't a lot of cutaways to things that are happening around the world, to news coverage of what's going on, except for at key moments, oftentimes when they themselves are watching it, or when the people that they have met along the way are seeing what's going on. And we see the effect of their actions on those people and on those characters. While this is a movie with a very broad scope as far as issues, it has a very narrow focus as far as characters. And I liked that combination. I think that there could be potentially a way to go both ways with this, to make it so insular that you lose the context of what's really going on, and the inciting incident almost seems trivial, or to be so broadly focused that you lose the track on these two characters. It's a really, really good job, both by Lena Waithe with the screenplay and Melina Matsoukas' direction, to keep this film as focused as it is, while also acknowledging that these two characters, with the death of the police officer, have spurred a movement that is beyond anything that they could possibly have imagined. A lot of people have compared this to Bonnie and Clyde, in that it's a man and a woman who were romantically involved on the run from the law. There are some basic similarities, but I think the key difference here is that Bonnie and Clyde were folk heroes because they were exacting what some people thought of as revenge on the banks that had seized so much property and so much in the Great Depression. That's not really what this movie's going for. This is not about getting revenge for anything. And the act that they take against the police officer is not one that's intentionally meant to provoke something. As a matter of fact, it's not an intentional act at all. But I think what it is about is how that act spurs in so many people around the world a sense of justice not done, of the need for justice, and how that really spurs these two to achieve things and to do things that they weren't capable of. Now, do they commit criminal acts throughout the film? Yes, they do, but that's not the focus of the movie. It really is how these two characters, who are unassuming, who really have a kind of unremarkable first date that doesn't even really particularly go well, are thrown into this situation, the effect it has on them, and the effect that it has on the world around them. This is an experience that unites them, not just by circumstance, but by them to understand what it is about each other and that they can connect to, despite the fact that prior to this happening, they really didn't share much connection at all. As a matter of fact, Queen basically says that she went out on a first date because she just needed someone to talk to, because she just wanted company. She's not interested in a romantic involvement at all. This is not a film that's worried about glorifying anything. It's not a film that really wants you to walk away saying like, oh, look at what these characters have done. Look at this message that they've imparted. It's so much more than that. It's about what they do. Not what they mean, but about what they do. It's concerned with what these two characters do and what it means to them first and foremost. And then outside of that, and because the movie is so concerned with the personal story, we see almost in parallel and almost in a way that even the people who take Queen and Slim as they continue to run from the law and as their story is seen by more people, almost apart from who they really are, take what they represent to be the symbol of a larger movement. And I think that poses some really interesting questions, that dichotomy between this very personal story between these two characters and what, in a much larger sense, this moment has meant to people around the country and the people that they meet that know who they are, that recognize them, that give them a sly wink or a nod, or allow them to sleep a night in their house because they agree with what they've done when they don't even realize that they've done anything, and they certainly didn't intend to. I enjoyed this movie. I really, really did. I thought it was a really fresh take. I thought that it has an energy to it, and the two performances by Daniel Kaluuya and Jodie Turner-Smith, both performances are really strong. You really feel the sensation of how this experience, while obviously traumatic, is also liberating for these two. They see this side of life that they never thought that they would see. They discover things in each other and themselves that they never thought that they would discover. There's really a lot to delve into with this film, a lot of questions to ask yourself, a lot of questions to ask of the characters of the movie. Some people approve of what they've done. Some people don't approve of what they've done. I think that, again, the movie isn't interested in taking sides on that. It's interested in just showing you these characters, showing you the situation, and letting you decide where you fall on that spectrum. So it's a recommendation for me. I think that Queen and Slim is an urgent and a very tender love story that's both relevant and timeless, because at its heart, it's really about two lovers caught in the crossfire of a society that's at odds with itself. And while the circumstances of that change in different countries and in different eras, that is a story that has been repeated many, many times over across many different eras and between many different groups of people. However, this one doesn't feel cliche. It feels very much of its time, very relevant, very meaningful. I think a lot of different audiences are going to take a lot from that. And I think that, honestly, seeing a film like this from a major studio with a black woman directing it and a black woman writing it, the kind of representation shown in this movie in front of and behind the camera, and the message that the movie has, I think it shows, and it proves why all kinds of voices need to be elevated and raised. And given the kind of opportunities to make a big studio film like this is released by Universal, I recommend this movie. I hope you enjoy it as well. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and stay tuned here on Fandom Entertainment. We'll be following the latest releases as we get towards the holiday season and awards season right here. Till next time, thanks for watching.